with stories untold, adventures so grand. Together we journey through space's expanse. Join the fleet where dreams take flight. In the darkness of space we find.
And we are live for the second edition of Fleetcast in under 4 days. What is going on with us? We have been very busy people, but we are back with another edition of Fleetcast reviews Star Trek the animated series, and this episode is ever so slightly different because we can't actually name the episode because it's a word that's associated with something different. Well, it's so associated with something the same as it was for this episode, but it's a bit more of an issue now.
Yeah. The word is the Arabic word for holy war.
Yes. And we don't want to get in trouble with YouTube or anyone else, but yes. So this episode is the episode who shall not be named.
Yes.
It is the last episode of season 1, the animated series, and episode 16. Yes. How are you, Endy? Sorry, I've gone straight into the rant over this episode name.
No, that's absolutely the right thing to do. I'm doing fine. Everything seems to be holding up. Aside from the fact that I got my screens working before, and then found out that I took screenshots across both screens.
Yes.
Aside from that little glitch,
so yeah,
everything is great.
You might find some of the images ever so slightly have a little bit of as if they've got something else that they need to share right at the end. I've done my best to kind of get around that.
It's just cut them in half, 50%, and we're good.
Yeah.
I don't know if got stitched together like that. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yes, but it is there. It's not the end of the world, but yes. So today's been quite fun for me because me and one of the new comms champion, Chris, have been to a convention in Newcastle, which is quite close to where we both live. And I am very burnt, so I apologize, people, if I look a bit pink. It's because I decided to sit outside for like 40 minutes, and it's the hottest day of the year in the UK. So I'm a little bit
so far,
yeah, I'm a little bit burnt.
I mean, it's not like it's not hot here. It's for those of us who speak American, it's 93 degrees Fahrenheit heat index out there.
Okay, I don't know what it is here, but let me have a look. I can do American. 2 seconds. And
somewhere in the 30s over there.
It's not. It's about 20.
Okay.
So it's about 65. But for the UK, that's really hot.
See, we're up in the wackaloon temperatures.
Yeah, no, but that's now. That's obviously we're 8 o'clock in the evening. It's it's been a hot one today, and we've been at a convention with something like 50, I don't know. There's about 9,000 other people there. It's ridiculous. It was hot today.
Yes,
but yes,
and in your numbers, by the way, current temperature out there, where I am now glaring at a window in fear, 34.
Okay, so that's med weather for us then. That's what it would be. That's what it is in the med. So that's on par. But yes, so I've been to a convention. I'm going to be seeing Dulac tomorrow, because he's coming along with me and Chris. We have presents for him. But if anyone wants to give him a hug, I have been offered up as a sacrifice to just give him hugs. So if anyone's
hugs, slugs in the face.
Yes. So I'm
other things that he deserves.
Just hugs. I'm just giving him hugs. So I will be there. We are going to be at this anime convention, so that should be quite good. But yes, getting into this episode.
Yes.
I didn't really have any idea what I was going into, to be fair. Looking back, Becca of 48 hours ago. Becca of 48 hours ago was very, very foolish because she didn't know what she was getting into. She didn't even think on it when she looked at the photos. She had to watch this episode twice to kind of wrap her head around it. And I still don't think I've wrapped my head around it properly. This has got to be the most surreal episode that I've ever watched. It didn't feel like Star Trek to me.
Yeah, pretty much. It's not Star Trek.
No, and it feels like
I literally had to check.
it felt like a Dungeons and Dragons adventure.
I mean, there's a reason for the naming scheme.
Yes, and the more I got into the naming scheme of these photos, I was like, okay, right now this is slightly making more sense. But yes, this episode, the episode that we shall not name, basically starts with them, as per usual, as we say every single episode, with them jumping straight into the mission. So they're in the transporter room. Captain Kirk tells Sulu to have the Enterprise.
I actually want to pull back by just a few frames here. I do love the opening image of the episode, the rendezvous with the fleet.
Yes.
It's actually, I think that they did another great job with the ships in general.
Yes.
They just did such a great job with it. And, you can see sort of that pseudo-Federation ship on the left. I don't know what that ship is. That's the yellow and black. I assume that's Sword.
That's what I assumed.
Yeah. And yes. And of course, on the right, you've got one that almost looks like an NX class.
Yes, that didn't escape my notice.
Yeah. I actually really do like that. And then, we get into the transporter room. Sulu says, is asking them what to do. Scotty manning the controls. The line that caught me here is, the line that caught me in that particular scene is, if Spock and I survive, it's like, dude, what? But they're going to the Vidala meteor.
Yes.
Which, the Vidala are the oldest spacefaring race, which contradicts a few other things that happen later in other Star Trek, but we don't care.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't care. I like them.
It just kind of, it was one of those episodes where it kind of just struck me again of, they go straight into the mission, but
we land on a planet.
Yes.
And some interesting characters. Now,
but I do just want to mention that Scotty has no lines in this episode.
That is correct. Yes.
Yes. And Scotty has no lines, but he obviously the actor that plays him plays other characters.
Yes, and what I find interesting is that in this episode's credits, Nichelle Nichols is included in the credits.
Yes, but she doesn't have any. She doesn't have any voice.
Exactly. Now I'm assuming that means that that her lines were cut, or that she was going to voice the Vidala, and instead it was swapped over. Do you know who's also not in the episode?
What's her name?
Majel.
Yeah.
Majel was not in this episode for one very simple reason. We can thank Rod Roddenberry for it.
Okay. So this is when he was born.
No, this is when she was having pregnancy sickness.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, she was having massive pregnancy sickness, and I think I prefer our Brooklyn bombshell to endless puking.
Yeah. I'm glad that we don't have that, but yes, that actually makes sense. That obviously it was around that time.
Yes, and for those that have watched sort of the older Filmation cartoons, you may recognize Laura's voice actress, Jane Webb. She voiced Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Aunt Hilda and Aunt Zelda, Betty and Veronica and Archie, and Batgirl.
Okay, so she's done quite a lot of them then.
Yes, she's sort of their stable voice actress.
That makes sense.
Funniest thing, our little bug guy, our rogue for the episode, you didn't recognize his voice at all, and you probably didn't think he was a great voice actor, right?
I didn't recognize him.
It's David Gerrold, writer of The Trouble with Tribbles and More Tribbles with Troubles.
Okay, that makes sense. But yeah, no, I didn't recognize him.
Yes, so it's great that they have that they have one of the writers voicing the character, and Machel's out of the episode. And the only thing is, I wish Nichelle had been able to voice the female Vidala.
Yeah, that felt a little bit off to me, but it makes sense.
Yeah, but of all the losses, I don't mind that one much. And once again, we get our pink-purple dominance here, with the Vidala showing up.
Yes.
I'm sorry, she's an off-model Xen.
Yes.
But I like the head shape. I like the design.
Yeah, it's interesting, the choices they made with the characters that they brought on this D&D quest. But obviously, we get straight into this episode where they meet in a clearing, and we meet the D&D party for this episode.
Let's be honest, that's just what they are.
Yes, it very much is a D&D party. But yes, so the meeting, and we get to meet, obviously, we get a Vidala female who introduces everyone. She, obviously, I can never pronounce the first person. Is it Char?
Char. It's Char, yeah.
Char. And obviously, he's the Prince of... He's the Prince of Scar and the Master of Eyrie, which was just like, okay, that's just Lord of the Rings. That is just Lord of the Rings.
Yes. Or, as I said, he's totally not a raptor in Paladin.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely not. Please do not get that confused. He is absolutely not a raptor in Paladin, in spite of discussing the Holy War.
Yes. So yeah, we kind of meet all these different these characters.
We get the next one, Sword.
Favorite out of all the ones that we meet?
I'm partial to Laura.
Okay.
But I'm also partial to women with Brooklyn accents. So, gee, You have a human woman in a leather one-piece swimsuit running around with a Brooklyn accent. Yeah, I'm probably going to be partial to her.
Yes, and then we get my favourite character from this episode, which is M3 Green.
Green, yep.
Who
what
is
talking about?
yeah.
David Gerald, yep.
Yeah,
He is our rogue.
Yeah.
He is our rogue. Honestly, I like all of them. I like the characterization. Even
Yeah.
in this brief moment, we get some good character moments. Because let's be real, Sword is absolutely not. Do not ever tell anybody that he is your lizard man barbarian.
Yes. And obviously, I like the fact that you've labelled Spock the totally not elf wizard,
Yes.
which I found utterly hilarious. And I was 100% hoping that we were going to get House Spock in this episode.
I hoped so too when I first started watching, because it was like I was hoping for a Magic's of Megas 2 type moment.
Yeah, me too, 100%. And we all know that this is what I live for in these episodes. And then we've got Jim Kirk, who is absolutely not the human guard, as you put it.
Yes. And the face of the party and the leader and yada yada.
Yes.
Now, Char makes the sign of Alar and starts discussing their history.
Mm-hmm.
But something that caught me, given the population of the score, it would take them 2 years to get 200 billion soldiers.
Yes.
Number one, how quickly do they grow into adults then?
I think it's very much like the Jedi when they make clones.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I kind of also think that this probably inspired all of that.
Yeah. This is definitely an episode that is totally unscientific, because did you listen to what our dear Vidala DMNPC said about the planet's temperatures?
Yes, something like it was something ridiculous that I thought, oh, this is going to be a Endy science moment.
It's 20 Kelvin to 204 above. Okay. 20 Kelvin is, to use Celsius numbers, and first and then American numbers, minus 253.15 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, that's
20 Kelvin, or minus 423 degrees Fahrenheit. 204 Kelvin is just negative 69 Celsius.
Yeah.
Or negative 92 Fahrenheit. There shouldn't even be lava at that point. It should be a freaking ice ball.
Yeah, it literally makes no sense, but I think they didn't expect us really to kind of look too much into that.
Yes.
I really don't think they thought we were going to look into it any more than that.
As I said, somebody get Stephen Candell a thermometer.
Yes.
Because he absolutely just... I get the idea of what he was trying to say.
Yeah.
Because when he meant 204, he meant probably 204 degrees Celsius. But that means that the Vidala, the oldest spacefaring race, just swapped temperature scales without thinking about it.
Yeah.
And yeah. But yes, in my notes I have, they all better be complaining about the cold. If I hear one comment about how hot it is, I'm gonna scream.
Yeah, it literally made no sense, but I did laugh. And then they get given their adventure. They start to go off on this quest.
Yes.
And then they get this car, which kind of feels like it looks like it's a roller car.
Yes, it's a roller car. It's a like I said, how toyetic can you get?
Yeah, I very much wonder. Yeah, I kind of wonder with this episode if they were going to try and do merchandise with things, because a lot of the things that were going on around this time, it just makes me think they had plans for merchandise. Like they had the belts, they had these toys, they had all these things in this series that would have made great merchandise. And I know we do this every podcast, which goes into Star Trek. We comment about how crap the merchandise is.
Yes. Ever since the
there was so much potential in this.
Oh yeah. No, then again, for me, what I'd love to have seen is, why didn't Sword, M3 Green, and Lara get their own show?
I do not know. I really do not know.
I would have watched a show with them.
Yes, because these characters, for the fact that we get them for 20 minutes, are absolutely brilliant.
Exactly.
And we kind of we go into it, and M3 decides that he's going to be the one driving this car, which
Well, he's the rogue. Of course he can use magical device check.
Yeah, and it just kind of makes no sense. It very much feels like it was, it kind of was a D&D adventure, and it's just got off the rails.
Exactly. Well, no, we're still on the DM's rails. We're still going choo-choo right on the railroad. The device goes bad, but Laura the Ranger has a solution. She can roll survival and win it.
Yeah, obviously we've got the machine working 1 minute, and then the machine not working so much the next.
Because of course it would be too easy.
Yeah.
Of course it would be too easy. And now, I will admit, I like that there is a woman who is finally actively hitting on Captain Kirk.
Yes, I actually was like, I need to look into this species, because one, they look very human. But
well, she says she's human, yeah.
Yeah, but they, from what I can look at Memory Alpha, they are from a species that is primarily women, and obviously if they meet a man that they like, they are very honest, they are very forward, and they just
And we meet a man we find attractive, we say so.
yes,
Say it. And I
yes,
like that. You know, that she just basically starts hitting on Kirk from the beginning, and he feels what it feels like for once.
yes, and I'm totally there for it.
Then again, I also think that there could have been a future with them. They work together well.
Yeah, yeah.
But
and we obviously she very much is flirting with him. But what I like is then the alien that can fly. They kind of want him to go off and scout.
yes, Char going off and scouting makes sense. And obviously it sets up certain things for later in the episode.
Yes.
We know. Yeah. I just want to comment on again the animation here. And the reason why I took so many shots of this episode, because they outdid themselves.
They really did, and the more that I watch it, the easier that I understand, and the fact that I can actually 100% see all the little things that you've mentioned around it. But yes, I really like how we're going on this little adventure, and as someone who is just starting to, I've been playing D&D for a year now ish. Yeah, a year.
I think
yeah.
a yearish.
Yeah. So it's just fun, and it's just a little fun adventure. I apologize. I've got a tiny human who is here with me. So if you can hear a little bit of singing, she's singing.
Okay, I don't hear her, so I'm assuming YouTube won't hear her either.
No.
As long as the tiny human is careful and stays off camera, we are all good. And I say that to said tiny human.
She won't be able to hear you because you're in my headphones.
Oh, okay.
But yes, the tiny human is here, but she's very much trying to stay off camera.
Okay,
she has decided to climb on the floor a couple of times.
Okay. Now I love the one back and forth when Spock is talking about the statistical probability of them dying.
Yes.
M3 Green.
Yes, because he obviously talks about this because we've had the previous parties. This isn't the first party that goes there.
Right. We've lost 3 expeditions, and M3 Green says, we're going to die!
Yes, he is my favourite character, but the reason M3 is there is because his species are cautious while the rest of the universe count them as cowards. And I am 100% there for him. I think he's the best character.
I just think he's there because he's Bilbo Baggins.
Yeah.
He's the thief. He's the rogue. He's the lockpick. He is the living lockpick.
Yes.
But no, what I love is that, Spock says it's the statistical probability that we'll die.
Yeah.
And Laura comes back in with, do you ever quote anything other than statistics, Vulcan?
But doesn't she say something along the lines of, oh, I've not met a Vulcan that I like, they're all cold-blooded?
Yeah, that cold-blooded critters,
yeah.
She says that to Jim.
She is brutal.
Like, oh God, yes, and I love her.
Yeah. Yeah, I do love her. But yes, they obviously
But I love what Spock says to Laura there. I'm sorry. Yes, but philosophy and poetry are not appropriate here.
Yes.
I like that back and forth. That Spock, okay, because
he's definitely a sassiest.
Yes, it's all right. It's Brooklyn versus Chicago, for lack of
yeah,
because Leonard Nimoy, of course, is Chicago. So yes, you get Brooklyn versus Chicago, and they are when the two of them have their biplane, it's great. And that's another thing about this episode. And Stephen Candell is a writer. He's got some great character moments here. He's got the characters interacting.
But isn't he the writer though of what other ones has he done? He's done Mud's.
He did Mud, yes.
Yeah, he's done the Mud episodes.
Exactly, which also were great dialogue and great byplay of the characters and interactions. But yes, he is the one who caused the most obvious version of your favorite ship in Mud's Passion.
Yes.
So you owe him.
Put it on my tab.
Yes.
But yes.
You owe him, but if you ever get to pay him back, throw a thermometer at him for me.
Yes, because it makes no sense, some of the things.
But now, yes, but we find the Temple of MacGuffin.
Yes, which I absolutely love the name in this. It made me have a little giggle every time it was mentioned. I was like, that is just not an alien name. That is not an alien name whatsoever.
Oh no, it's not. It's not the name for it really. It's what I call it because. Oh wait, do you know where the term MacGuffin comes from?
No.
It's what Hitchcock used to describe any item in a movie or story, which is the sole motivating item. So, for instance, the Maltese Falcon MacGuffin, the briefcase in Pulp Fiction, things like that.
Yes, that makes sense. Yeah. And obviously.
So yes.
We get this first look, and this is the moment that I kind of just love these characters more and more, and it was where I 100% knew this was a D&D adventure gone wrong, because
Yes.
as you've put it in this image, it's everyone has to roll for survival.
Yep. As the volcano lights up.
As
Yep.
the volcano, but as we've discussed previously in this episode, how is there lava? This lava should be frozen.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But yeah.
It makes no sense, but
Not at all. And then what I love, I had to take a screenshot of this, even if I didn't fully expect you to put it in. But suddenly we cut back to the Enterprise.
yeah,
Just for an external shot. And then we go right back to the planet.
yeah,
It's
that literally made no sense to me, because I was like, what, why is that there? Why? That's why I've left it in, because I was like, I have got no idea why.
Why it's there. I
Yeah.
figured out why it's there.
Okay.
Because cartoons at the time, being 25 minutes, being like 20 odd minutes,
Mm-hmm.
they had to fit into a 30-minute time slot
The adverts.
with commercials. The
This is
volcano with the brass note was, they went to black screen, they went to commercial. They cut back to the Enterprise as a static screen and then go back into the episode.
that makes sense. Now that we're looking at it, yeah, that makes sense.
It's our commercial break.
Yes,
That's exactly what it is. It's our commercial break.
that is pretty much, yeah, that makes sense. Now that I think back to it, obviously I'm very much used to television where we don't actually have commercials anymore. I get quite upset at the fact that Amazon now have made it so that we've got commercials. But yes. The amount of times I've tried to watch Fallout, and the adverts have wrecked it. But yes,
Just aren't it? You're paying for it already. Just download it so you don't need to worry about the commercials.
yes, but yes. So we kind of get back to the group trying to survive,
Yes,
and obviously rendezvous with Chachar.
yes, and we have M3 Green and Spock working with this machine, trying to get the car working.
Yes, as you put it, in space, no one can hear your cable. I want to say it's management. Yes.
Yep. Yes. No one can complain about your cable management.
Yes.
Because that is spaghetti. I'm looking at that. That is spaghetti.
Yeah, it is pretty much spaghetti. Even I was a bit like, okay, that's bad.
Yeah. Well, they had to do it, I guess. And then I wish that Laura didn't run like Batgirl or like Sabrina or like, you know.
I think it actually, as you said, it's the same type of animation they use.
It's the stock footage. It's truly stock.
Yes.
But but they're working on the car. They get the assisted use device check. Meanwhile, the Barbarian and the Bard have an assisted strength check to push a rock down a mountain.
Yeah, and I was just like, this is really just a D&D adventure. I literally was about to get out my dice and just
and start rolling with them.
Yeah, exactly. I felt like it was very much like it could have been a D&D adventure that I was part of.
I had to check something when I was watching this. I had to pause and check that the D&D cartoon was actually done by Marvel and by Toei.
I did the same check.
Yeah, because it's like, wait, no, you can't be this D&D and not be D&D. Wait, yes, you are D&D. You're doing it. Why?
But isn't this around the time that D&D got really popular in America? So
this is around the beginning of it, yeah. This is before the Satanic Panic. This is before all the other problems.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is right when D&D was starting to become a thing.
I just wonder if this is them in the writer room, and this is the conversation they had.
Yeah, this might be. You know what it is? It's that they adapted an adventure from their campaign.
Yeah, it probably is. Because I know for a fact that Star Trek actors nowadays love D&D.
Oh, yeah.
Like I've watched a lot of them streaming for different charities, and they all love D&D. Like I'm trying to think of a lot of it is just a Discovery crew. A lot of them I've seen them doing it.
Yeah. Also Will Wheaton, obviously. Actually, Nimoy tried it back in the 80s. Wasn't his biggest thing.
Yeah.
Doohan appreciated it, though he was actually more of a Traveler fan.
Didn't know that. Will passed it on to Paul because Paul's just started playing Traveler.
Mm-hmm. I don't think Shatner's into any of it.
No,
but then again, let's be honest, Shatner's not a nerd.
No, he's not. He's very much not. But yes, So
Yeah.
we kind of get back to the episode, and obviously you've got the Ranger strength check, please.
Yes, exactly.
Uh,
Is as she pushes the rock down without help from Sword or Kirk.
Yes. And then obviously we lose M.
Yeah, where did M go? I don't know. Because he should be in the car, right?
Yes, I just think they forgot that he was there for a moment, and they just did.
I think so.
They did a
I
quick
think
image.
they thought he was helping Laura. I think but now they roll at high speed. They get away from the volcano. The strength checks barely beat the DC, but only by 1 degree of success.
Yeah.
So the lava flows over. The car gets away. Hey, M's back. And then we hit a rock.
Yeah.
And the rogue failed his drive check.
It literally it was, as I was watching this, I was literally like, this is like my D&D party, and we are literally failing everybody. Yeah, we are literally failing every dice check that is possible.
Yes. But now the next thing, oh dear, that image is borked.
It's all right. It comes up on fine.
The problem is that I was trying to take a picture of both frames at the same time.
Yeah.
And I couldn't.
So we've got Spock being very dramatic, which I absolutely love. This nearly was the scoring system because I thought it was brilliant. I might not have Hell Spock, but I've got dramatic Spock instead.
Yes. But by the way, do you know what word is in very obvious letters and marked up in my notes about this scene?
No.
There is one very important word. Seatbelts, people.
Yeah.
Seatbelts.
But seatbelts just aren't a thing in Star Trek. I know, but Star Trek does not do very well with seatbelts until much later.
Yeah, which I don't get it. Why would you do that?
It makes no sense, but it's what they do. But yes, so we've got Kirk.
Yeah, we've got Kirk helping Spock out of this crevice.
Yes.
And by the way, I am live editing these images because it annoys me that I made such a mistake. Next time, please tell me. I will fix them.
It doesn't matter.
But
we've obviously as we're going through the episode, that they are failing more and more checks. Yeah. So they've failed their rough terrain check, and I love this scene where they're trying to get up this hill on these
where they're trying to take this car up the hill, and it's like it's just not gonna work.
It's not gonna work. It's not. It's
so they hop out of the car, basically. Laura leads them to the next place, and I love this next shot.
Yes, everyone's assembled.
Exactly. It is just such a perfect shot, and I think every party that ever has artwork has something like this shot.
Yes. 100%.
Where you've got, your whole team assembled, Paladin, Paladin, Ranger, Bard, Barbarian, Wizard, and of course the Rogue hiding over in the corner.
Yes, ever so slightly. And this is why I love this character of M, because he is so damn dramatic.
But by the way, I just, the next shot, I kind of want to focus on one little detail, again, of the animation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's another one of those, they didn't have to do it. They really didn't have to do it. But they did it.
Is that with Sword?
Sword blinks upside down.
Yes.
He blinks bottom up, and he has 2 sets of eyelids.
Yes. But as we discuss every episode, the animation and the fact that what they put into this is absolutely amazing. We don't get that on cartoons anymore.
No, we do not. But the effort that they put in, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Because they could have done so much less. They could have just ignored him blinking at all. But they have him blink 4 times in the episode, which, 20 minutes, maybe he should be blinking more, but it's focal in the shot,
Yeah.
it makes him feel alive compared to, what he could be. And the fact that he blinks upside down is so cool.
Yes.
Just so damn cool.
It is. And it just shows off just how good and how such a shame it is that we have only got, what, 6 more episodes after this?
Exactly.
Yes.
It's and it hurts.
Yes.
But at least the next one is the Pirates of Orion, and that is one that I am looking forward to.
Oh, well, I'll have to wait and see what it is. But obviously we've got our rogue has missed his perception check.
Yep. Yep. Poor M misses his perception check and falls into an icy crevice.
Yes.
Now I didn't screenshot the rescue this time, but Spock and Char go and grab him.
Yes.
And this is probably why you love M.
I just love M because he's dramatic. He's like, leave me, I can't go any further. And he just looks
I'm not even scared anymore. I'm just tired.
Yeah, and I'm just like,
me too.
Me too, buddy.
M.
Me too, buddy. Me too, buddy. I just love this little character, and I love that in some of the books. I think I've just seen it in some of the books. We actually get to find out more about his species and stuff, and I'm going to see if I've got that book. So yes,
yes, and then of course I love that. As always, with a barbarian in the party, the simplest solution wins. Sorg just literally grabs M and starts carrying him. Like, it's just
easier.
Like, you're not staying behind. I will carry you.
Yes.
And I've heard worse inspiration quotes than what Kirk gives in this scene. We're tired, sore, hurt, and angry.
Mm-hmm.
But we're also just about there.
Yeah. I actually found that I quite liked Kirk in this episode.
Yes.
I don't know why. I actually felt like he was actually a leader, but it could,
because this is Kirk at his best as a leader.
Yeah, I did find that I liked him, and it doesn't obviously make me like.
See, I like this version of Kirk. I like the younger version of Kirk, but no, this definitely feels like at the end of the evening, at the end of the session, the combat
character anymore, but I did like it in this episode.
Or well, this
Obsidian.
episode doesn't have much combat
Oh,
until the end.
Phoebe.
But the tests and so on have been going bad. Everybody is low on hit points. Everybody is low on
She's not.
supplies.
She's having
Players
some.
are tired because the DM has just been going on and on and on with his railroading. And the bard comes out of with this. If Phoebe is in chat, because she often is. Oh dear. Okay. Oh yes, I see that.
Having some technical issues. She's going to watch it later on when her is, as she said, it's the UK. Our internet is melting. I'm very surprised I've not lost my signal, to be fair, because it's hot.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
our structure is not, it's not designed for this temperature.
No, it's not. But we need to tell Phoebe that for at least one of her
And Cassie's weapon.
wild animal encounters, if we have one, we need the purple flying disc. Laura literally has the satellite stunner, which means, of course, then that she is both the ranger and the pink. She is both the ranger of the team and the pink ranger.
Makes sense.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. We've got the pink ranger. We've got Kirk as the red ranger. We've got Sword as the black ranger. Spock as the blue ranger.
Yeah,
And the yellow ranger.
It's literally
That
any
works.
party that you would ever have, and it's all
Yes.
the same. But yes.
Exactly. Now, I also love that Sword immediately is like, I'll cover you,
Yes.
so that the extended lockpicking check can happen.
Yes.
And again, and also, I didn't notice it as much, but oh God, looking at it now, he's got the Silverizer. We have the satellite stunner and the Silverizer in the same episode. What's
Yes.
going on here?
Yes.
And then the flying screamer grabs Char.
Mm-hmm.
And I put up the shot that I could because I could not catch the frame before.
It was really hard. I actually tried to see if I could do it, and I couldn't get it either. It was very difficult.
Yeah.
But it's a scene, we can see it. He's getting kidnapped, so
yeah, kidnapped. And then they fight the streamers off. They manage to blast them a few times, which, it's always good when they show off, the phasers working and so on.
Yeah, and they do it in such a different way to what we see on even in like the original series and the Next Generation compared to now. It's very different, and I really just love the fact that the animated series has its own little style. I really do.
It absolutely does, and that is absolutely an important thing. The style of this series is just, you can't replicate it.
No, and you really can. And I don't even think they do it in Lower Decks or Prodigy now.
I don't think they would try in Lower Decks, because Lower Decks acknowledges this series.
Lower Decks is a love story to every single Star Trek series before now.
Then I will have to try and watch it.
You need to. If you can, you need to watch it, because it is absolutely brilliant, and it's one of my favorite things about New Trek. It's just a love story. It really is.
Because I am always touchy about any of the streaming era Trek, because look, number one, I hated the pilot of Discovery when it was on TV.
Yeah.
And I have said before, and I will continue to say, that I have a moral issue with the streaming services and the way they're doing it, because Star Trek did not get the way it is, and did not get to say the things that it has into the cultural conversation by being paywalled.
No, unfortunately.
But
it's like but it's very much like any other fandom nowadays, because Star Wars is exactly the same, and Doctor Who is exactly the same.
Star Wars for me, I don't have a problem with Star Wars being streaming only, because Star Wars was a movie.
Yeah,
you had to pay to see the movie. Okay, until like the 80s when it went onto TV, but you had to pay. Okay.
Yeah.
Doctor Who, I would have a problem with it if they went streaming only.
I have such a problem with Doctor Who at the moment. Absolutely.
Well,
I have a very big issue with it, because it's being shown on streaming before it's being shown on British television. It's available to watch from midnight.
Yeah.
Instead of it just being available at 8 p.m. on a Saturday night, as what normally is, it's now available beforehand. So literally, I can wake up to spoilers from every part of the world that it's available now, instead of being.
That's rude.
Yeah.
That's very rude.
Yes. Disney.
But, yes. Well, that's one of the problems. We have Disney on one side, CBS on the other, and yeah.
Yes. Yes.
We need to break up the hegemony.
But
we really do.
It's not going to happen, man. But yes, getting back to the episode
Yes.
and off our usual rants, either it's merchandise or streaming services.
Off the usual rant. But we open the door, and the bard offers a short rest to the party.
Yes.
The party declines because they are still under the effect of his inspiration check from before.
Yes.
Saying we're just about there. So rather than give up Spock's inspiration and so on, because he's the one who hasn't used it yet.
Yeah.
He hasn't used that D4 yet.
No.
They decide to keep going.
And obviously they go inside and they find the soul, don't they?
Yes, the soul of Score, the soul of Alar, whatever it is a thing. It is the MacGuffin of the episode. It is there is no other term for it. It is just it's the thing that you're supposed to get. It's the treasure.
Yes, but M finds no locks, which is like, right. Why is there no locks?
Well, because as he said, we're prisoners. Yes. And of course, this is when Spock uses his inspiration on the knowledge check. Of course, we're prisoners. Did you not think that there were 3 parties before us? All of them died.
Yes,
and no one here has been living but us.
This is where we have the part where the animation doesn't show the path, don't we?
Yes. It really doesn't. It is so annoying how they get there too. But Spock figures out that they are that they are being betrayed, but they get a path to the soul in midair, which is also what tells Kirk who the traitor is.
Mm-hmm.
Because, of course, if the only way to get to it is this narrow ledge, then it's meant for flying.
Yes. And this is where we kind of get the Barb and the Rogue are friends. We get the barbarian also fails his acrobatics check.
Yes, because Sword says, I'm not built for this. You guys go ahead.
Yes.
Which I get annoyed at because they literally exclude him from the final fight.
Yes. And everyone else kind of passes the test, and we get the fun image of them just trying to creep along this ledge and inch by inch going along this ledge.
Yes, inch by inch, moment by moment, and they just show the legs.
Yes.
Now, I love that. Again, that Laura thinks, okay, it's got a force field around it. I'll just rope it. It's like,
yes, she's remembered. She's remembered what she's got in her adventures bag.
Yep, exactly. She remembered her silk rope.
Yes.
And that's when the phaser hits. When Spock says, "Oh, we'll just bounce off the force field anyway."
Yes.
Hit with a starship level phaser that carves a piece of their path. Like, well, that's not good. And I love how nonchalant the facial expressions are. Like,
it was my favorite part of that bit. They were like,
even Anne is like just totally like, oh, good. So now this,
mm-hmm.
right? I love it. Where he's just like totally nonchalantly like, oh, good. Now this. I need this in my life, like a hole in the head.
Yes, and then go on.
And then Char shows up and starts monologue.
He does, and as you've got it's a good job that talking is a free action.
Yes, because he is just. I'm sorry, his motivation is just, what the hell, dude?
Yeah, and obviously the way that he outlines his motivation, I was like, I don't understand. I don't understand why he wants to bring a war to the universe. It literally, there was no rationale for it.
Exactly. It's like, dude, what you're saying is you've got peace.
Yeah, and you want to interrupt that and bring back a war? I think something's not quite right there.
Yeah. And Spock calls him out and says that most of the score will die.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, it'll be glorious. And it's like,
Yeah,
This is not just a guy who's like, this is not like some of the Klingons where later on they get like, we are becoming dishonorable, we're becoming too peaceful, we're becoming too soft,
yeah.
and look for solutions. This guy just wants a freaking war.
Yeah, it literally just makes no sense.
'Cause
And then obviously
what?
then he then controls the room and it makes
Yes.
makes it all 0G.
Yeah, makes everything 0G, which this is where Score says I'll tackle him. And it's like, okay, yes, let the barbarian do the fight.
Yes.
But of course Kirk says no. And we get the first 0G fight scene in Star Trek.
Which I'm there for it. I quite enjoyed
I'm there
this.
for that.
I absolutely love the facial expressions on Kirk.
Yeah. Oh god, yes. It is a perfect facial expression. And as I said, I'm doing live cropping on these images, so I'm sorry that I'm looking away. But yeah.
It's okay. But yes, and obviously they get the bad guy.
Yes.
They tackle the bad guy. All their
They
dice
grab him.
rolls. All their dice rolls go well. And then obviously
And it's like, what the hell do you mean let me die?
yeah,
Like,
I was like, that makes no sense.
no sense.
Why'd you do that? But then I love this part that we then get the transportation and they all kind of go back to the beginning and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like, oh good. So now, okay, so our Ravenloft adventure is done. We've come out of the demi-plane of dread. We're back where we were.
Yeah, and obviously even when he's captured, he's really still defiant and he's still shouting off.
Yeah, I like him in that. You know, I like that he doesn't just immediately bend. But it also does make you think, what the hell are the Vidal going to do to him to make him quote unquote sane?
Yes, and I kind of I know we don't get any closure on this because I've looked.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't. We never see these people again.
But we also, how this episode ends, I was like, okay, this is a little bit strange because
well, it was all a dream. Remember? I mean, it's not, but it is.
It felt very much like that because obviously they're told, oh, there'll be nothing to no memory, but you'll have no.
Yeah.
What phrase do they use?
Yeah. No, they say that you'll have no memory, only our thanks. You know, even the memory
so now that makes sense because I was trying to work out why how it ends the way it did, and I watched it twice. And as I said at the beginning of this episode,
basically
I didn't understand.
It's okay. The idea is that there is an established campaign or two established campaigns, and somehow they have a one shot with characters from both.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe that I get, but obviously,
and yeah, this is
we kind of get
D&D.
Yeah, we kind of get Kurt going. Oh, too bad that we'll never remember that he had a little moment with
Lara
with Lara, and obviously they fade away.
Yep, and return on the ship, and you know I'm actually I don't want to say I'm annoyed at Sulu.
Yes,
but I want to think, but I want better from him because. By the number of times that Sulu has been through bullshit, you would think that he would know.
Yes.
Okay, when Kirk and Spock disappear off the Enterprise and reappear 2 minutes later, it usually means they went through a whole thing and there's a time-shifted adventure there.
Yeah, but obviously it's not acknowledged. It's 24 minutes of an episode.
Yes.
But yeah. What is your score for this episode?
Okay. My score for this episode is a little bit complex.
Okay.
As a Star Trek episode, I would say it's a 2 out of 5.
Okay.
Because it is very un-Trek.
But
overall, as a show to watch, as a suggestion of people to watch it, 4 out of 5.
Okay.
4 out of 5 Souls of Alar, because it is.
It's not. It's M.
It's not.
It's M. It's M.
Okay. It's M. It's
because I love M in this episode, and I need to see more.
M is great.
My score,
yes,
is 3.
Okay,
which
is
the
average of my 2 scores. Yeah.
Yes, so this episode felt very very D&D to me. It wasn't Star Trek. And I felt very, very confused by this episode because I was like,
The first time it was.
I don't understand it. I didn't understand how it ended, and I watched it twice. I didn't understand how it ended. I didn't understand why we had both Spock and Kirk there.
Well,
I know
because
I know they have different skills, but I was
yeah,
like, this episode could have been achieved without Kirk or without Spock. We could have had a different character.
honestly, I would have loved to have seen if they had let Nichelle, as she was credited, be in it,
Yeah,
and have
I would have
her
very much liked
in
to have
sort of
seen.
Kirk's place.
Yeah, I would
But
have
then
very
again,
much
that
liked to have seen that.
Laura. But I also I got to admit, my favorite character in a lot of ways is Laura, in part because of how different she is from any character played by Majel.
Yeah, it's a very different vibe.
Because
And as you put it, you've got Brooklyn.
yeah, exactly. But but the thing is also, Majel playing this character, I don't think could have put it across well because as an actress, I don't know how she was in real life with Jean,
Yeah,
but as an actress, she does not do well at flirting from a position of power and confidence. She tends to be the little woman, the purring woman, the lovesick woman.
yeah,
You know, whether that's as Chapel or even, she gets a little bit more close. She gets a little closer to what Laura is when she's Luxana Troy
it's my
flirting with.
favorite, favorite character of hers.
Oh yeah, absolutely. She did Luxana so well. But
I I
the
I,
point
I want
is,
her as mum. I
that,
literally would
yeah,
love her as my
absolutely,
mum.
exactly. But Luxana, even